Hi, everyone. You know that you have a problem when Ilhan Omar becomes your moral guide. I just read about how Congresswoman Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, unfortunately a dyed-in-the-wool anti-Semite, criticized her fellow squad member, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, for taking the coronavirus vaccine when she's, thank God, a healthy 30-year-old. Here's my perspective on this, okay? Because I kind of found it shocking that she actually took the vaccine, along with many other members of Congress so far. Let me be clear. I am a 54-year-old male. I just turned 54, thank God. I'm in decent health. I'm very grateful to God for my health. I would love to take the vaccine. If any of you have got like extra spare doses lying around the house, give me a call. I would love to take the vaccine. I would take it immediately. I believe in the vaccine. I believe we should be taking the vaccine. I am so grateful to God, who inspires humanity with its industriousness and creativity in creating the vaccine, the hardworking medical professionals who burned the midnight oil and pulled off this absolute miracle, Operation Warp Speed, to give us thus far two approved vaccines. There may be a third soon. We have the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. We have two vaccines already, and I would love to take it. Problem is, I can't take it yet because there are ethical protocols about who the vaccine is being given to. First responders, nurses, doctors who are being exposed to the virus every day, and of course people who are in homes for the elderly that were decimated by the virus. And then it's going to go according to age. I have, thank God, a 78-year-old mother. I called my mother up and I told Ma, you got to take the vaccine. I have a friend who is almost 90 years old. I called her and I told her you should definitely take the vaccine. So the next round of people who are going to get the vaccine are the people who have been forced to quarantine the most, suffer the most, been isolated the most because of their pre-existing conditions, their age, etc. Look, I have a brother who almost died of the coronavirus vaccine, so it hits very close to home. All of that order that was imposed by CDC guidelines, by the United States Government Ethics Panel, and Europe, you have the same thing. It all means that someone like me has to wait. And I'm upset that I have to wait, but I accept that I have to wait because people who are, my mother, 78 years old, needs the vaccine more than I do. My friend who's turning 90 needs the vaccine more than I do. Doctors and nurses who are treating coronavirus vaccine patients need the vaccine more than I do. And I kind of make peace with that. That's the way it is. And the rest of us are going to have to wait, even as I hope we will produce the vaccine, distribute the vaccine much more quickly and rapidly, so all of us can get back to some semblance of normality, of normalcy in our lives. Okay. Which leads me to AOC. Here you have Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. She's 30 years old, and thank God she's very healthy. I have nothing against her. I've said many times that while many of my friends who are her political opponents, they really don't like her. I have nothing against her. In fact, I wish the Jewish community would do more outreach to AOC and maybe win her over a bit more, educating her more about the Middle East and repudiating a lot of the I say this respectfully, kind of the ignorance that she has about the Middle East through no fault of her own. She's a 30-year-old congresswoman, first term, and foreign policy is a very difficult thing to master for anyone, even people who are experts for many, many decades. So I wish that we could show her the perspective on the Middle East. Democracy, women's rights, LGBT rights, all of which Israel practices that Israel's enemies do not practice, and maybe we can win her over to be a greater supporter of Israel. But be that as it may, I have nothing against AOC. But I have to say the hypocrisy of her taking the vaccine at 30 years old, and then when she was asked, how can you take the vaccine? Thank God you're young and healthy. There are so many people in front of you who kind of are more at risk and more exposed. Her answer was continuity of government. That as a congresswoman, she has to be concerned about continuity of government. Continuity of government? AOC, God bless you. But without you, do you think the government is going to cease to function? Without Alexandria Ocasio Cortez of Queens, New York, the United States of America will not continue. So you're going to say, oh, but Shmuley, she's one of 435 congresspeople. Men and women. And therefore, they were all offered the vaccine. What kind of continuity of government? They've been continuing the whole year. Congress has met the whole year. Didn't they just vote for another $900 billion stimulus package for people who are desperate for money and unemployed, and God bless them for doing it, for helping people. All of this is done without a vaccine. But there are people who are really suffering, and I cannot believe the 30-year-old Congresswoman, I mean, even if she gave us a better reason, let's say AOC got up and said, you know what, I should not cut the line in front of people, because even I'm older than you, AOC. I'm 54, and you seem to be a lot more energetic than I am. I mean, she's a powerhouse, AOC. Even if her excuse had been, look, I have a lot of constituents who just won't take it, and they're anti-vacciners, or they've heard the vaccine malign, so I'm going to take it. Even if that was her reason. And I know she did it in public, she kind of said that, but she said the reason she's taking it is continuity of government. Come on. With all due respect to AOC, I think the government is probably going to function pretty well without young Congress people taking the vaccine. Maybe she even had said that she doesn't want to infect constituents who are older, who she meets with. Something like that. It would have made sense. But I'm really confused, because all I've heard for the past year is that Trump doesn't give a crap about the vaccine and he's killing everybody. This while, give the president some credit, because Operation Warp Speed, which his administration, the Trump administration initiated, created 2 vaccines in a world, and we're the only countries that have the vaccine. The United States is exporting the vaccine everywhere. Israel, I saw Benjamin Netanyahu, he's in his 70s. I saw him take the vaccine, and it's a Pfizer vaccine. It's the American vaccine. In England, even though they developed the vaccine through Oxford University, it's not out yet. They're using an American vaccine. So give the Trump administration some credit. But all I've heard from so many leaders like AOC, Democratic leaders, and I'm not making this a Democratic Republican thing. Human life is way too important for that. But all we've heard for the whole year is, you guys are killing people, and you're doing rallies, and there's no social distancing, and the elderly are being put at risk. If the elderly are being put at risk, let them have the vaccine first. Like I said, I wish I could have the vaccine right now. If anyone wants to send it to me, if you've got like a spare few doses of the vaccine, send them to Rabbi Shmuley. By the way, why aren't I an essential worker? This is a serious point. I'm a rabbi. I don't understand. We're not as frontline, of course. Let's make no mistake. The frontline workers, of course, are first responders, doctors, nurses. They're number one. But in terms of essential workers, then, of course, the grocery workers who are so brave and have kept America's food shelves stocked, and the delivery men and women. They're amazing. But somewhere in that list are members of the clergy who are putting together prayer services, and there is a level of exposure. So you're going to say, oh, but that's not an essential service. Prayer and religion is not an essential service. That's what Governor Cuomo was kind of trying to say when he was trying to limit synagogue services in the hot zones to 10 or 15 people, regardless of how big the cathedrals were, no matter how much you could social distance in synagogues that are built for 500 people, and he was overturned by the Supreme Court. And why did they try to limit it? Because for them, prayer isn't an essential service. Well, guess what? The founding fathers of the United States of America said it was. And they put it in the First Amendment, that we have the freedom of worship. We can worship. And that's why I'm so, the majority opinion written by Justice Neil Gorsuch was so powerful, where he said that even during a pandemic, yes, the Constitution said it can take a hiatus, but it can't take a sabbatical. You can't deny people's freedom to worship. So be that as it may, I'm just wondering, am I on a list somewhere as a member of the clergy? Okay, but AOC is a lot younger than me. She's 25 years younger than me. She's already gotten the vaccine because of continuity of government. We got to keep that government going. It's going to fall apart. I saw an election take place, thank God, without a vaccine. And thank God we pulled that off. It just shows you the resiliency of the United States of America. I've seen Congress function. I've seen the Senate function. I've seen the House function. I've seen the White House function. No, they should get vaccinated, but I still think there should be some order of age. And if not, why can't I press my case that I want the darn vaccine? We all want our lives to return to normal. But the idea that I would take the vaccine before, like my mother, who's 78 years old, I mean, it's just not the ethics that all of us were raised with. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to get the vaccine after our turn comes. We should, and no one should be afraid of it. You should take the vaccine. Believe me, take the vaccine. Trust science. Trust these incredible medical professionals. I'm just kind of asking, AOC, I think you need to explain to us a little bit better rather than saying how essential you are to the continuity of government, that without you, the United States would kind of be limping along. It would be barely making it. It would be like the United States without you, AOC, would kind of be in an existential crisis. It would be just about to go under. And you got that shot, and now the government will continue. So let's stop all the hypocrisy. And you know what? I'm not someone who mask shames. I'm not someone who vaccine shames, although I'm telling everybody to get the vaccine. And I believe in masks 1,000%. And I believe in social distancing and all the minyanim, the prayers we ever. But let's not shame each other. And I'm not here to shame AOC either. I'm here to say, do you see how easy it is to start pointing fingers at everybody? That's my point in really saying this. AOC, all the fingers you pointed, that people weren't serious about the vaccine, and all the people you accused, see how easy it is for people to point the finger at you too? Why don't we, maybe it's time for us to say the opposite. You know, AOC needed to take the vaccine because she's a member of Congress. I understand that. And maybe other members of the United States government had to continue meeting people in some context because also government had to continue. Maybe we should stop pointing fingers at each other, shaming each other. I have seen, when I went to the White House Hanukkah party, my God, the people who were writing and screaming and yelling, and we love shaming people. Let's all be responsible. Take the vaccine, but let's do it in an orderly fashion, according to what the ethicists are saying. But again, if you have an extra one, send it to Rabbi Shmuley. And I would like to hear, by the way, where the rabbis fit into this whole essential at all. Okay. Wear your mask, social distance. And AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, I hope that you're safe. I hope the people around you are safe. I thank you for your service. You and I have our disagreements. We especially had a disagreement when you compared the ICE camps, the detention centers, on the border to concentration camps, thereby trivializing, belittling the Holocaust. I took out a full-page ad in the New York Times kind of saying, please stop trivializing the Holocaust. But we have our differences. I still want you to be safe. I'm glad you took the vaccine. And God bless you.